Push P. Yeah, push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Corners in the paddock, get my piece. Push P. Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want.
Hello, and welcome, my beautiful kings and queens of the Cree crew. This is Cree, and welcome to part 2 of the Messy Auntie series, episode 7. Once again, this is part 2. So if you have not watched part 1, go and watch that first, and I will put the link in the description, and then come back to this one where we will get into all of the juicy mess. Let's get to it. No more wasting time, y'all. Okay, so I left off in part 1 that Dawn abruptly left En Vogue in the early part of 1997 to pursue a solo career. But also, as I said, everything that we were told was not completely true. But I will get into all of that later on. But I do want to get into the other things that she had going on with her first. So we're going to start from the most recent things that she has happening, and then we're going to work our way backwards, okay?
Yes!
Okay, so the first thing, the most recent thing that had come out about Dawn, I don't know if you guys remember, but earlier in the year, around March of 2025, she came out and told the world that she was homeless.
Who told you that?
Okay, hold on, scratch that. I said that wrong. The streets said she was homeless, but she did say that she was living out of her car. But not because she was poverty-stricken or destitute or anything like that. This was completely her choice.
It has been a minute and a half. I'm so glad to be back. Namaste, hola, all those things. Okay, hello in every language. When I first started this channel, I knew that I was going to talk about this episode. This was one of the topics that I wanted to discuss. And people are like back and forth with me over this whole time, like, well, you shouldn't talk about it because you're a celebrity, and what if they judge you? And I'm like, okay, what if? What if they judge me? So what? We're all judged. Life is life. My aim is to inspire and to let people know that you're capable of anything. No matter what the odds are against you, you are capable of anything. You're capable of everything. Whatever you think you can't do, you can do that thing. You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out. I've been living in my car. Oh my gosh.
So back around 2020, early part of 2021, right when we were in the thick of the pandemic, Dawn went on about 100 gazillion interviews with various bloggers, podcasts, and YouTubers and such. Well, at that particular time when she was doing all of these interviews, she was actually living at her parents' house. And at the time, her parents were staying in Las Vegas. I believe they're still in Las Vegas, but that's where she was staying. Not long after that, she moved out. She did say that the relationship between her and her mother was pretty contentious, and that just wasn't something that she was willing to deal with for the long term. So she moved back to LA, stayed with her former manager, trying to get her career back on track. She was having a hard time, finding places to live. So first she was staying with her manager, but that didn't work out. And then the manager ended up putting her in a hotel, which was supposed to be one night, but ended up turning into about 8 months. And in the time that she was staying in the hotel, she started looking into car life, van life, RV life, just living off the grid. So around closer to about the summer of 2022, that's what she did. She's been living in a car, and she's been cool ever since. And everybody's reaction to this news, it was pretty much a mixed bag. You had a lot of people that were feeling sorry for her, like, oh no, poor Dawn, she's homeless, what are we gonna do? Then you had a lot of people coming out, oh, well, Well, that's what she get, karma because she's a bad person, blah, blah, skippy. And then you had people rallying behind her. It was like, hey, go girl, do what you do. But there were a lot of people, especially a lot of celebrities that came out and spoke out on this. Two people in particular that a lot of people were talking about one is Jermaine Dupree. And Jermaine Dupree had this to say about that.
An assistant is not something that you should even think about if you don't have no money, right? And I'm bringing this up because Dawn, when she was telling the story in her car today about her living in her car for the last 3 years, she said, I was telling my assistant. And when she said that, I said, oh, wait a minute. It changed my whole vibe of what I was watching, because ain't no goddamn way she got an assistant and she ain't got no money. When you ain't got no money and you out here just doing what you got to do, you do by yourself.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? You moving around by yourself. Ain't nobody getting ready to sit up under you and just kick it for nothing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it might be some people that will stick there for a little bit, but 3 years? She said she been in her car for 3 years. Ain't no 3 years of an assistant staying around. They ain't getting no money. If you ain't got no money, how they gonna help you? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no money to pay them.
Yeah.
It don't even make sense, right? It don't make sense. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody pays attention to the whole scope of this story, because that's what I heard, and that made me think, wait a minute. She got an assistant. I don't know if she broke. She might not have all the money that she want in the world, but she definitely is not broke saying she got an assistant. That's all I'm saying.
And eventually it got back to Dawn, and needless to say, she was not happy. And this was her response.
Round number one, Jermaine Dupree. Like I said, if I met this man once in my lifetime, that's saying a lot. Like, nobody asked you for your opinion. I don't know where you came from, but if you had an assignment, you failed miserably. I was like, what the heck is this? You literally got it on camera and then you sent it to the media? That to me was a bitch move. Heard me. I was shocked because usually celebrities support each other. You don't go in on each other at all. I did the interview with Angela Yee. She brought him up. I wasn't even going to bring him up. And I was like, it's one thing to have an opinion on something. You literally give an opinion about something you don't know nothing about, talking about I have an assistant. I have an assistant, but I said sister/assistant. Go back and watch. I just had to get in there too. I'm like, where are you coming from? I'm laughing because you're a joke. Mind your business. You got your own life. I'm not giving comments about what you do. I'm not interested. I don't care. Jermaine, suggestion. In the future, if you have a question about me, instead of going to the press and making yourself look ridiculous, I suggest you come and ask me directly, okay? Not that it's any of your business, but yeah, ask me directly. That's how grown-ups deal with each other.
Lord knows I love Jermaine Dupree. God knows I do. But baby, you should have just sat over there in that corner and just ate your food, sir. That's really all you should have did. The second person that has something to say about this, and this is who we are also going to be talking about next, is her ex-husband, Andre Allen.
I was married to Dawn for 10 years. A lot of people get it wrong because Hollywood and gossip sites and other bullshit tend to do that. This is about me just minding my own damn business the other day and seeing a video come up on my feed, and then a bunch of other people texting me the same video of my ex-wife, the woman that I was in love with for about 10 years of my life, telling the world that she was sleeping in her car and was homeless. That either her mother put her out or her mom was making her life miserable. And immediately I knew all of that shit was not right. I know Barbara Jean Alexander, okay? That woman is an angel. Her mother and I talked, actually, we just talked yesterday. She'd never put her out. She'd never put her daughter in the streets. There's no argument that you could have with Barbara Jean that you could ever view as aggressive or mean-spirited. I scroll through and I see people talking and people ripping her apart and putting their 2 cents in. But this music industry is demonic. It takes and it takes and it takes. It uses you up until you have nothing left, and then it seeks to destroy you for the ratings. So if nothing else, I just want people to look at Dawn as a human being right now. What I want you to understand is that this is a woman. And while we can bounce back and end up in a position like I'm in right now, I'm an executive for Hilton. I make over $500,000 a year. Not everybody can do that shit without some help. So maybe you could call it survivor's guilt or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But when I see my ex, somebody that had my heart at one point in my life struggling, I don't believe that about her wanting to do van life or, you know, wanting to have to put a video out telling everybody that she's living in her car. I believe it was a cry for help, you know, so I reached my hand out to help. Sad part is, I don't think she'll take it. I'd love if she did, but what about when you're the biggest girl group since the Supremes and you're conditioned by producers, predatory producers who know that they're gonna fuck you for every dime that you earn. But they feed you a bunch of hope and dreams, and you record album after album after album and never, ever, ever get rich. Now you're older and the radio stations, they don't want to really play your new music. They don't want to play your music videos. They don't want nothing to do with you. You didn't get your big shot to put out your solo album, the bills start piling up, the shows start drying up, and you're getting older still. Your group kicks you out. You find another group. That group kicks you out. You finally meet the man that you want to marry, and you marry him. Then he kicks you out. But you still have dreams. And the people that come, they don't quite know how to get it done for you. So you get bitter, and you get angrier. You start to be demanding, and people look at you like, who the fuck are you to be demanding? You haven't had a hit in years. And then you get angrier and more bitter. And then you get left alone. Because you lash out a lot. Because you started out that really sweet girl with all these dreams that were coming true, where you did the work and you did what you were supposed to do, what you were directed to do. And the money came and you didn't get any of it. Now nobody wants to work with you. What the fuck did she do wrong? No record labels want to sign you because in the meantime, Napster just happened. And people stop buying music. The fans that love you so much, they steal your music now. And then they read about you sleeping in your car. She's drowning, guys. But that's just a human take on it. And who am I? The guy that left her, the guy that badmouthed her decades ago, calling her a spoiled bitch, among other things. Yeah, that's me. But at the time I was hurt because I didn't know how to respond to her pain. You know what I mean? I don't want people to misread her. So I know she doesn't want help from me or anybody else. I don't blame her. She needs help in ways that most people can't provide. She needs some professional courtesy, some love, some empathy, a time machine. She needs a job. So Dawn, if you're seeing this, you know, and I know you are, I'm really sorry that I was one of the many, many people who disappointed you. But don't let that keep you from digging out of this. I believe in you. I always have. I always will. And I know you can do it.
Okay, so you saw that clip of the ex-husband, Andre. Well, I think they call him Dre. We saw that video. And here is Dawn's response to that.
Anytime I'm in the public eye and I get any kind of shine at all, here comes my ex. Slithering. He doesn't walk, he slithers. Gotta tell everybody, hey guys, I'm Dawn's ex. He said that he offered me a job. It blows my mind, the level of foolishness that someone will go through just to get a little bit of attention. But his emails go straight to my trash because he's abusive. So why would I want to work with him? Hello? Think about it. How many people work with their abusive exes? None. Funny, he never said anything about abusing me, cheating on me over and over, endless. And I was stupid in love. Dude, are you that fascinated with me? If I was his new wife, I'd be like, oh, like, okay, so what is this whole thing we're doing? Like, why? Yeah. I'd be asking that question. Fool, you're on your sixth wife. I think you need to really focus on her. Literally, I was wife number 2. And then he had number 3 and number 4 and number 5. Now he's on 6 and he got the nerve to be in my business? And you're acting like a disgruntled ex. You're hovering, just like a disgruntled ex. If you were over me, you wouldn't be so bothered with my life. Like, seriously, you didn't pay this much attention to me when you had me. You weren't this much involved in my life when we were together. So, yeah, move on. Be a good husband for the first time in your life. How about that? Definitely had enough practice. Mwah.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. That was a lie. That was a lie. So now, in hearing his video, I really couldn't tell if he was being sincere or if he was just being shady and backhanded. Now, when I heard him talking in that video, what I heard was a man, after being divorced from his ex-wife for a number of years, realizes maybe some of his faults and some of his mistakes that he made, and is reaching out to try to offer help to a woman that he once shared his life with. You really have to have the right type of people around you, and it didn't seem like that was the case for her, for real. But what actually happened? What happened between Dawn and Dre? So let's kind of get into the information that I was able to find on them. Now, the information that's out there on the internet says that they got married in 2003 and divorced in 2010. But if y'all paid attention in that video from Dre, he said that they were married for 10 years. If they were married in 2003 and divorced in 2010, then that means they would have only been married for 7. So I'm going to assume that maybe they possibly got married sometime in 2000. Or maybe they met and started dating in 2000 and then got married in 2003. So then they would have been together for 10 years. But he said they were married for 10 years. So I'm gonna go on his word on that. And I mean, as far as we knew, I mean, they seemed like a pretty normal, quiet couple. You didn't really hear about them in the news and in the tabloids like that back in the day. And then I remember maybe mid to late 2000s, I remember that they were supposed to have a reality show. And then by the end of the 2000s, like around 2008, 2009, it was coming out that they were getting divorced. And yes, the stuff that Dre was putting out there about his wife was appalling.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
I found an archived article that came from the website thatgrapejuice.net, where they showed an old MySpace blog written by Dre, practically going in on Dawn relentlessly and mercilessly. Why can't I talk right now? Apparently there was some stuff that was put out there about him, and so he basically clapped back. So the blog reads, first and foremost, I would hardly ever respond to talking from anyone, but today I make an exception. These two hoes have gone on a rampage to destroy my name today while no one was even thinking about them. If you read the blog comments, I was referred to by Dawn's sister as a transvestite homosexual who beats women and has sex with every woman he meets. Wow. Gay but has sex with every woman I meet? LOL. This is a laugh. Well, since she felt the need to have her sister and a few of her closest friends come over here, let me give you all the real reason why I left Dawn's ass. 1, she signed up to sites and wanted to swing with other couples. Before I got involved with her, she admitted to sleeping with 17 men in 1 month from one swinging site. I gave her the benefit of the doubt and thought she was just really compensating for a lot of insecurity. I stayed. Then she nagged the shit out of me day in and day out because I was always busy and she didn't know enough about the business to just get her own shit done. No, she wanted to be a fucking diva and complain about every fucking thing that I did. set up like she was still Beyonce. Nobody was checking for her ass when I was with her. Nobody hardly would book shows unless she was in vogue. I side busted and got their asses back together, but the only ones who knew what they were doing were the other 3 members of the group. They were the smart ones. They knew how to get that shit done and book shows, but I had to always appease Dawn's ass and say, no, you're right, baby. These old tired bitches ain't nothing without you. She is quite literally the stupidest person I've ever met. I fell out of love with her. I left her. Now these idiots are coming to my page trying to destroy my name with my fans. You have fans? Okay. How dare you? You don't want to dance with me. Why? Because I don't give a f***. Your record is public. You got kicked out of En Vogue and they didn't even want to face you because you are the most difficult person in the world to deal with. They left you sitting at a photo shoot for the last album and didn't tell you where they were at shooting the EV3 cover without you. Remember that? Raphael Saadiq kicked you out of Lucy Pearl because your attitude jeopardized an operation he had worked hard to get off the ground and he didn't even face you. You found out you got kicked out on the radio. Ask yourself why, Dawn. Because you're a phony, nagging, complaining, two-faced, spoiled, rotten bitch. Well, he did say that in that video. He said all that. He did say that. We haven't even started talking about your deal with Dr. Dre. What happened there, Dawn? He booted you before you even started because he saw your mouth a mile away. You dug this grave for yourself. Now here's a warning. Keep my name out your mouth and keep your friends and family members off my MySpace page. Woo-wee. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot, y'all. But you know what, though? I actually saw that pilot. I actually saw the pilot of that reality show that they were supposed to do back then about 20 years ago. They have that on YouTube. And I mean, pretty much in the first 10 minutes, well, honestly, the first 5 minutes of the show, I could see them there that they looked, loving for the cameras, but you could see them cracks were starting to show. And that was just on the pilot episode. I don't even think that they even had a full season. If they did, I don't know. But I put the link to that in the description if you want to watch that a little bit later on after this. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that show never got off the ground because it was depressing. Oh my God, I was sad for them watching that. So it seemed like the divorce following that was inevitable. And from what I could tell, when he wrote that MySpace blog, that was in like 2008. So that was like a year or two after they filmed that reality show. The show was basically about her making her comeback, trying to relaunch her career, and him trying to basically break into the industry, into the business. So Dre's been in the industry, but not like Dawn. So Dre broke into the business in the mid-90s when he was part of this R&B singing group by the name of For Example. They had one minor hit that like barely made a blip on the R&B charts. I barely even remember the song. And then they broke up not too long after that. And then after that, he signed some type of a production deal with LaFace and became one of the songwriters. And so from that point on, he was just a songwriter for a whole bunch of other people. And so when him and Dawn did that reality show, it was showcasing him trying to also break in as like an artist. And they were trying to do the independent thing. But as we can all see, that reality show never came into fruition. And they called it quits not long thereafter. And from judging from what I saw on that show, yeah, that should have been done. It definitely should have been done. I would like to believe that what he said in his video was genuine and that he was willing to put all of that beef that they had to the side to help her. But I mean, come on, I ain't no fool. But damn though, homie, you on your sixth wife though?
Bruh.
You on wife number 6? She was wife number 2. You divorced her? Y'all divorced 15 years ago. So you mean to tell me you done had 4 wives in 15 years? Dog.
Damn.
Like I said, man, I want to believe that he out here trying to do the right thing and he trying to do right. But maybe, bruh, maybe you should go over there with Jermaine. Go over there at that same table where Jermaine is at and go eat your food. That's really what you should have been doing too, sir. But all right, man, let's move on. Let's move on. So the next beef that I want to get into is the one between Dawn and the cast and crew and producers of R&B Divas. So back in the summer of 2012, the cable TV network TV One premiered a reality TV series called R&B Divas, which was filmed at the time in Atlanta. A year later, in the summer of 2013, TV One came out with the spin-off series, which was R&B Divas LA, and Dawn was featured on LA. She was only on there for the first season, and let me tell you why. So apparently TV One initially reached out to her to join the cast of the R&B Divas Atlanta show, but she initially declined because she didn't want to be part of the reality show drama.
The very first person that I met with for that show was a woman named Robin Schneider. She's what they call a showrunner. And I said, I wasn't interested in doing, they offered me to do Atlanta Divas. And I said no, because I thought it was going to be catty. I didn't want to relocate. I don't represent Atlanta. I love Atlanta, but I don't represent it. And I didn't want to move. I didn't want to uproot myself and go to Atlanta. So I said no, and I could figure the way she was talking, it was going to be messy. So they came back around to me about 7 months later and said, okay, we're going to do LA Divas. What do you think? And I'm like, oh, now, okay, I live in LA, makes sense. I said, but the stipulations for me, there are 2 stipulations. I will not fight. I'm not about to start fighting. I didn't grow up fighting, and I'm not about to start on a show at, in my 50s. I'm not doing that. I'm not about to take nobody's man, have them take my man. All of that stuff is just, and they were like, well, no, we want a very, very positive show. We want a positive show. We want to make sure that everybody's seen in a good light, and we're going to be supportive and have love on the show. I was like, okay, you know what? If you guys are going to do that, then I'm down. And the minute I signed on the dotted line, you guys, it was like, oh, we got her now. We got her now, so it changed immediately. It was like, no, they said what they needed to say to get me to sign, and then once I did, they were like, ooh, how can we strategize?
So yeah, they sold her a dream. They sold her a fairy tale, because if you seen R&B Divas, there wasn't no love and peace and harmony and none of that shit. Now, she did say that after like the first couple of weeks or so of filming that everything was fine and everybody was getting along and it was love and peace and harmony. But then all of that pretty much ended once the producers came in and was like, hey, the networks is upset. They're not liking what they're seeing because y'all basically getting along with each other. We need y'all to start fighting. We need y'all to create some drama. And Dawn was like, hold on.
Slow your roll, Smoking Joe.
Hold on, that's not what we agreed to. That's not what we agreed to.
So Kelly Price and I, and Shantae Moore, and I think Little Mo was included, but we all agreed that if we were going to have any kind of discrepancies with each other, we were going to rectify the problem and talk it out on camera. Production came to us about a month after filming, and they said, hey, you guys are too nice to each other. TV One is having a problem with that. And I said, well, the problem that I'm having is that, first of all, I told you guys I wasn't about fighting. I wasn't going to do that. It's stupid. It's high school. We are grown women, and we have a responsibility to young black women everywhere that see us on a show. And if we can't resolve our problems with each other as women, then what do they think of us as women? Like, how are they going to grow up thinking it's okay to curse each other out and just walk away? And then the producer said to me, well, you guys can have your disagreement on camera, and then you can walk away and have a drink later and rectify it at that point. And I said, no. Because, again, the image that we're putting out there is everything. Perception is what I'm talking about, and you guys want us to do all this bullshit, and I'm not having it because I wouldn't play the game. I wouldn't play the game. And what I was upset about in the end, I didn't go back. Let me see. They didn't have me back for about 4 months of filming. Every Monday, I think they would have us reiterate what we saw, what happened in different episodes over the week before. And so on every reality show, they have like follow-up. So you're sitting there talking about, and this is what happened at the restaurant, and this is what she told me when we went for drinks, and this is what she said. And they wanted me to move my head back and forth in my neck and all that. Girl, please. And the showrunner was like, well, Dawn, can you just, on camera, can you just do this, like, suck your teeth and just like, girl, bitch, I'm not the one. I was like, oh, so you want me to be the black girl, the step and fetch it woman? No. No, see, Robin, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't talk like that, barely talk like that with my friends. And if I do, that's behind closed doors with my friends. But to represent myself to the world, I'm not bringing that to my young black audience. That's not going to happen with them.
Right.
It's not. And I keep smiling because you're going to try to get me where I look like I'm down or I'm depressed or I'm angry. You're not going to get the angry black woman.
So because she wasn't trying to go with the flow and run with the game plan, now she's being labeled difficult. She's being labeled a diva. Her thing was, why the hell y'all got me on here trying to create fights and trying to create drama with these women? I don't even know these women like that. We don't know each other. And she also said that the storylines, it's like certain storylines that she wanted to add in there that she was going through at that time, and the producers weren't really feeling it. And that, of course, made her feel away. But the main storyline that I remember that they had on her was the fact that she and, at the time, I believe her fiance was trying to have a child. And she was well in her 40s at that point. I want to say she might have been in her mid to late 40s, possibly. And she also wanted to get into the fact that she was in a relationship with a white man. Because, like I said, this was in 2013, so her and Dre were already done. She had moved on and started dating another man. So she kind of wanted to make that a talking point, about interracial dating. And once again, the producers wasn't feeling it. And she also wanted to talk about Dre. She wanted to talk about the fact that she was once allegedly in an abusive marriage, and how she was able to overcome that and move on to a new relationship. She wanted to talk about that, and once again, they wasn't budging. They didn't want to get into that either. And I think one of the final things that happened that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back was the apparent, I guess, beef maybe that she had with Kelly Price. Because I know Kelly Price was on R&B Divas as well, and she was pretty much the villain of the show. If you remember my Kelly Price video, I kind of talked about that a little bit. People still talk about her. People still talk about how bad Kelly Price was on that show. She was so mean, so vicious. She was the villain of the show, and she was the one that was getting into it with all the cast members. But according to Dawn, she was the only one that had her back. And it was at some point that they both agreed that they would not attend the reunion taping. But when it came time for the reunion, Dawn was not there, but Kelly Price was.
What I didn't like in the end is that the reunion show, I didn't go for that reunion show. Kelly Price and I agreed that we weren't going to do it. And then I hear somebody told me, oh yeah, Kelly Price, I watched it and Kelly Price was there, and she was talking to all the, I was like, wait, Kelly was there? They said, yeah, you haven't seen, I'm like, no, I haven't seen it, I'm not going to watch. They said, well, she was just telling everybody that how much she loved each one of the girls or something like that each one of them stood up and she held their hands and she told them it. And I was like, wait a minute. They all turned against her. I was the only one who had her back. The only one. I was shocked. I was just shocked. I'm like, okay, that's the way that the game. So she tried to call me maybe about 3 weeks after the final episode aired, and I wasn't taking her calls. I didn't answer her emails, and I just didn't respect the fact that I had your back and you didn't have mine.
And as a result of all of that, she was not asked back to do season 2, nor was she going to do season 2. Okay, so the next beef that I want to get into is the one between Dawn and Raphael Saadiq. So in 1997, Dawn was a free agent. She was no longer in vogue, and she was going about starting up her solo career. At first, she was briefly with Aftermath with Dr. Dre. She didn't really do much in her time with Aftermath, except she did do a feature on the song Firm Biz by the hip-hop supergroup The Firm, which consisted of Nas, AZ, and Foxy Brown. And Dawn did the hook on their song. But other than that, there was really no motion going on with Aftermath, and so after her brief stint there, they amicably parted ways. I tell you, as much of a super genius producer that Dre is, when it comes to managing artists for a label, that's pretty much where he falls short. I think his only success story might have been Eminem. Eminem and 50 Cent. I mean, those are pretty much his only two. After that, you didn't really hear about nobody else. And I think that's what it was with Dawn. This was the late 90s. And I know also around this time, this is when Eminem was just coming out with his first album, because his first album came out in 99. And because that's where his strength is. His strength is in hip hop. He don't really know what to do with R&B like that. So after she left Aftermath, she secured management with a lady by the name of Cassandra Mills, who immediately went to work into trying to shop labels for her to do her solo album. So around the summer of 98, Cassandra had reached out to Dawn and let her know, hey, I just gotten a call from the management team of Raphael Saadiq. Raphael Saadiq is interested in starting a supergroup and wants you to be a part of it. But since they weren't talking any real numbers and didn't really have a for real plan in place, I turned it down for you. And Dawn was like, I'm sorry, what? You did what? You turned it down. You turned it down before even talking to me about it? Oh, no, that's not cool. That's not cool, ma'am. You, ma'am, are out of order.
We are out of order.
And with that, she fired her manager and immediately called up Raphael Saadiq himself. See, what a lot of people don't realize is that Dawn and Raphael have already known each other. They already had a working relationship with each other. They've known each other since they were 16 years old. They were in a band together. I believe she was a singer in the band and he played the bass guitar. When Tony first came out onto the scene, and when they came out with their debut album back in 88, that was around the time that, well, maybe it was a little bit after that, where Dawn had went on the audition to become part of what would eventually be In Vogue. And crazy enough, the same management team that managed In Vogue, which was Too Tough Enough Productions with Thomas and McElroy, that was the same management team that signed and managed Tony 2 years prior. But anyway, Dawn called up her good old friend Raphael and was like, hey man, I heard you got a supergroup. I heard you trying to start a supergroup and you want me to be a part of it. And Raphael was telling her about it, was like, yeah, I want to start a supergroup. Me and Ali, and that's Ali Shaheed from A Tribe Called Quest, said me and Ali, we were talking, we want to get a group together, and we thought that you would be the best as far as vocal wise, and you also have that pop appeal that'll help us cross over. You're not working right now, you're not with the group, so what's going on, what's up? Now, what I forgot to mention is that before she got approached by Raphael to do Lucy Pearl, she already had a deal on the table with the help of her manager that she had just fired, Cassandra Mills. She had a deal on the table with RCA Records. They was ready to sign a deal with her right then and there. However, because she did not want to deal with the politics of being managed by a big label as opposed to a smaller label where it wouldn't be that much of a hassle and a headache, she decided to go with Raphael and sign under his label, which was Pookie Records, and become an official member of their group that they started, which was called Lucy Pearl. And when she did that, Raphael told her, he was like, hey, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have the the budget that RCA would have for you. But whatever you need, if you need anything, just let me know, and I'll make sure that we get you taken care of. And she was like, all right, cool. She didn't have any reason to doubt anything that Raphael said to her. Like I said, they've known each other since they was kids, so she pretty much trusted him. But apparently not long after the ink dried on that contract that she signed, she realized she f***ed up. Oh no! Oh wait, now I did forget to mention this. I forgot to mention this part. So originally, Lucy Pearl was supposed to have been Raphael, Ali Shaheed, and D'Angelo. D'Angelo was originally supposed to have been the third member. But because this was around, 98, 99. So this was around the time that D'Angelo was working on his second album, Voodoo. And because of the scheduling conflicts and everything that he had to deal with that, on working on that album, he decided that being in Lucy Pearl just wasn't going to be a good fit at that point in time. And so that's when they reached out to Dawn. So from what I'm understanding, Dawn was D'Angelo's replacement. But anyway, they were working on the album. The album was supposed to have been released around the fall of 99. But however, by November of 99, they were still nowhere near done with completing the album. And by this point, understandably, Dawn is getting antsy and getting anxious because there is no money coming in. If we don't have an album, we ain't got no money. Pookie Records is already on a small budget, so it's not like she had that big of an advance. And the creditors were calling her because she's behind on her house payments. So after bugging him and like, hey, when are we gonna get this album done? When is this album gonna be released? I'm about to lose my house. I need to pay for my house. The banks don't care that my album ain't out yet. They want their money. And at that point, Raphael was like, hey man, look, I don't know what to tell you. It's every man for himself at this point. I wish I could help you, but I can't.
What?
Nigga, what? Excuse me? Hold on. Time out. You mean to tell me I walked away from a multi-million-dollar deal with RCA Records to come and sign with your broke-ass label because you told me you had my back. You told me you was gonna take care of me if I needed it.
You lying ass bitch.
We were supposed to have had this album done and released months ago. And at this point, we don't know when the hell this album gonna come out. And so when I come to you, when I need you the most, you gonna sit up there with your bare face hanging out telling me that it's every man for himself. I don't know what to tell you. You on your own. Really, bitch? Really?
Boy, you ain't shit.
Now, by this point, they had already secured a deal with Overbrook Entertainment and Interscope Records to do a song for the 2000s movie Love and Basketball, where they were going to be on that soundtrack. And Raphael was like, hey man, just hit up Overbrook and see if you can do that. See if you can just do that song by yourself. If you need the money that bad, then we can go ahead and do that. But then Dawn was like, well, no, that's bad business because we signed a deal as Lucy Pearl to contribute a song to the soundtrack, not just me. It's supposed to be all of us doing this. But Raphael left her hanging. And eventually she ended up losing her house. By the time the album finally got released in the spring of 2000, her house was gone. She's losing her house. Matter of fact, while she's packing up to head to go on this international European tour with Lucy Pearl, she's also packing up her house and trying to put it in storage. That's a lot for one person to deal with. I'm sorry. That is a lot for one person to deal with. And I would have been angry and bitter and pissed off too if I was her. Totally understandable. So by the time Love and Basketball came out in the summer of 2000 and Dance Tonight was on the radio and it was a huge hit and it was all over the place, Dawn was homeless. And nobody knew. So while they're celebrating the success on this debut single Dance Tonight that done blew up everywhere, Dawn can't even celebrate like she wants to because she got to worry about where the hell she about to live at. She ain't got no house. So the single Dance Tonight and the album, they both get released around the spring of 2000. They blow up. Everything is a huge success. They start traveling around the world, touring, promoting the album and everything in the group. And Dawn is there, but she ain't there because she's still mad and she's still in her feelings about how Raphael did her dirty. But she still was there. She still performed. She still performed because she was like, that's my boy. It's just fucked up what he did to me. In September of 2000, around the fall of 2000, that's when they released their second single, Don't Mess With My Man. And that single was also a huge hit. So everything looked to be on the up and up, right? Right?
No, we're gonna
This
let
is
the camera
not
keep rolling.
true.
Well, that's what we all thought until November of 2000, when most of us who were still heavy watchers of BET back in the day just so happened to look at 106 in Park. And on this particular episode of 106 in Park, Lucy Pearl was supposed to be there and performing, and they were there. But something was different. Something was off just a little bit. So while we watching the show, we see Raphael and we see Ali. But there's another chick there that we don't know. That's not Dawn. That's not Dawn. Who the hell is that? Who this bitch?
Who the fuck are you?
So apparently Dawn got replaced by a singer by the name of Joy. Joy was a singer that was associated with the Dungeon family. If you all know about the Dungeon family, it's out of Atlanta. That's where Outkast came from, Goody Mob, Organized Noise, etc., etc. Actually, Big Gip from the Goody Mob is her ex-husband. But yeah, she got replaced by Joy, and the crazy thing is she didn't even know. She didn't know. She didn't find out until we all found out. Ain't that some sad shit?
Yeah, I'm tired of that. It was so disrespectful.
So then, of course, that just pissed her off even more. Not only do I lose my house and I'm broke, but then you gonna turn around and replace me and not even tell me? Don't even have the decency to fire me? I have to find out when everybody else do?
I made your asses. You can't fire me.
Who would not be pissed off by that? Who that ain't gonna be mad about that? And another thing that Dawn was also pissed about when it came to Raphael is when the group did start to take off and everything, and they were, doing promotional interviews, and they were sitting down with other journalists, doing interviews and things like that. Yeah, of course they would do an interview with these different people as a whole, but a lot of the journalists primarily wanted to ask Dawn questions. And Raphael wasn't happy with that. He wasn't feeling that at all. His thing is, it's two other people in the group, it ain't just Dawn, it ain't just her group getting snappy and start cussing out the journalists because they only want to talk to her and don't want to talk to him. So he in his feelings about that. Never mind the fact that you done allow the girl's house to get foreclosed on and get taken from her. You worried about because she getting all the attention out the group. She's the woman out the group. She's the woman out the group, and she's the biggest artist out of the group. She was the breakout star from one of the biggest girl groups of all times in the 90s. Of course, they're going to ask her more questions than they asking y'all. So he was in his feelings about that too, and I do believe that that's the reason that he kicked her out of the group and replaced her with a lesser known singer, someone that would divert the attention away from her and put it more on him. So not only did Raphael's pettiness damage their working relationship, but it also damaged their friendship. And to this day, their friendship has never been repaired.
Yes, Raphael said a lot of things recently about my participation in Lucy Pro and what he could have done without me, and all this stuff's really nasty, but not at all surprising. We did a song called Don't Mess With My Man, but it should have been called Don't Mess With Dawn. Here we go, y'all. Without further ado, Raphael Saadiq. Woo! Let's go! Just recently, about me going viral, he said that he thinks I'm lying about living in my car. First things first, nobody asked you your opinion, okay? Second, you couldn't do what I do. That's why you're thinking I can't do it either. Like, again, you don't know my life. Like, this is something stupid to lie about. Then he said also recently, he was doing a show. They did Dance Tonight, and he was talking about Lucy Pearl. And he said, you see, y'all, I didn't need her for this. I didn't need Dawn for this. I could have done the Lucy Pearl album by myself. Like, what? Okay, I took this very personal. This is where I had to break it all the way down and tell y'all the real on Lucy Pearl. But before we go there, Raphael, I just have a question. Why didn't you do the Lucy Pearl project by yourself? If you could have done it alone, why didn't you? If you could have gotten Lauryn Hill, why didn't you? You searched for me. You called my manager and found me, okay? And I turned down the deal with RCA to do the Lucy Pearl project with you. But if you could have done it alone, why didn't you? What an ego. Lucy Pearl wouldn't have even happened had it not been for me. But here's the deets, y'all. First of all, you insulted me and the work that I did on that album. It wasn't a Tony album or a Raphael Saadiq album. It became Lucy Pearl because of what I brought to the table. Got to give credit to the producers that I brought in on the project, Glenn Standridge and Bobby Ozuna. It's powerful because of them. They did the heavy lifting on that album. Don't take away from me as if I didn't do anything on this project. I did a lot. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of us. I love Lucy Pearl. And it's hurt me like, dude, how can you just take away from what I did? And the fans are feeling the same way. Like, you're taking away something that they love. They lifted us up. They made us Lucy Pearl. So how dare you do that? Who do you think you are? You can't erase my legacy. That won't ever happen. I am very proud and will always be proud of Lucy Pearl. That's one of the dopest projects ever. Till I take my last breath, I'll be singing Dance Tonight on my way out. Like, for real, that, oof. Every day, la la la, like, yes, we did that. And for him to take that away from me or try to, it's like, you can't erase someone. Raphael, Dwayne just passed away. You need to grieve him. That's what you need to be doing right now. All this, I wouldn't have even met Raphael if it wasn't for Dwayne. Oh, so sad. But I know he lived a great life. I hope he was happy. I hadn't talked to him in later years, but I hope he was happy. God bless his children and his family. As bad as it ended, I would not change a thing. I had such a blast with Lucy Pearl.
But then that just goes to show you that you really can't trust nobody in this business. You really cannot trust anybody in this business. No matter how long you've known them, how long you've been friends with them. It's like he said, every man for himself at the end of the day. Okay, good people. So you know what? Looking at how long I've been talking on this one, I'm going to go ahead and end part 2 here. And for the first time ever in Messy Auntie history, we are going to do a part 3. What? But anyway, if you have made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see y'all in part 3. My name is Cree, and y'all be easy.